I wish to share with you a profound truth about divine compensation. A truth so transformative that it will forever change how you view every seeming loss in your life. For what appears as loss in the world of Caesar is but the setup for divine restoration multiplied. Let me tell you with absolute conviction, the universe, which is nothing more than your own wonderful human imagination externalized, is already in the process of restoring everything you thought was lost. Not merely in equal measure, but pressed down, shaken together, and running over. First, you must grasp this eternal principle. Nothing is ever truly lost in consciousness. What appears as loss in the world of manifestation is merely a temporary state. For all things exist eternally in the mind of God. And are you not told that you are made in His image? Here is the secret of divine restoration that few will ever comprehend. Every seeming loss is actually a divine setup for greater gain. When you truly understand this principle, you will begin to see every loss through the eyes of faith, knowing it is but the catalyst for multiplication. Let me share with you the exact law by which this operates. When something appears to be lost in your world, it is actually being transformed in the invisible realm of consciousness. Like a seed that must fall into the ground and die before it can multiply, your seeming losses are but seeds of multiplication. Now let me reveal to you the precise method by which the universe restores all things, a method so perfect, so divine, that it must repay you not merely what was lost, but with interest compounded by divine law. For every tear you have shed is counted, every disappointment noted, every loss recorded in the divine ledger. When you understand this principle of divine restoration, you will never again fear loss. For what appears as loss in the world of shadows is merely the universe clearing space for greater blessings. Just as a gardener must prune the branches to allow for more abundant growth, so too must certain things be removed from your life to make way for greater good. Here is the exact law. Everything that seems to be taken from you is actually being multiplied in the invisible realm. Your task is not to mourn the loss, but to maintain in consciousness the knowledge of divine restoration. For whatever you hold in consciousness must, by eternal law, externalize in your world. Now, here is something profound about divine compensation that few will ever grasp. The universe doesn't merely replace what was lost, it upgrades it. That relationship that ended, it was making space for a more perfect expression of love. That opportunity that vanished, it was making way for something far greater. Throughout your day, whenever you think of something you've lost, immediately shift your consciousness to this truth. The universe is now restoring this to me multiplied, not with effort or strain, but with the easy naturalness of knowing that divine law is already in operation. When someone walks out of your life, do not see it as loss. See it instead as the universe creating space for a more perfect expression of love. For I tell you with absolute certainty, every tear you have shed over lost love is being transformed into pearls of greater joy. Every moment of loneliness is being converted into deeper connection. Here is the exact principle by which this operates when a relationship ends. It is not truly ending, it is being transformed. The love you gave, the trust you extended, the devotion you showed, none of it is lost. It is all recorded in the divine ledger, and it must by eternal law return to you multiplied. Now let me share with you something profound about relationship restoration that few will comprehend. The universe doesn't just send you another person, it sends you a more perfect expression of what you truly desire. That person who left, they were not your end, they were your training ground for greater love. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every person who has left my life has created space for someone who will love me more perfectly. For remember, in consciousness, all relationships exist in their perfect state, waiting to be claimed by your assumption. Let me reveal to you now how this same law operates in the realm of financial loss. Every dollar that has slipped through your fingers, every opportunity that has seemed to vanish, every financial setback you have experienced, all of it is being transformed in the invisible realm into greater abundance. Every opportunity you believe has passed you by, if it's too late, that echoes in your mind. The universe is already orchestrating divine compensation that will make you marvel at its perfect timing. When you understand this principle, you will see that time itself is nothing but a servant of consciousness. There is no such thing as too late in the realm of divine restoration. For what appears as lost time in the world of Caesar is being compressed and multiplied in the realm of divine compensation. Here is the exact law. Every moment you think you've lost is actually being recycled into greater opportunities. That business you didn't start 10 years ago, the universe was protecting you for a greater expression of that desire. That degree you didn't complete in your youth, divine timing was preparing you for a more perfect manifestation of that knowledge. Now, here is something profound about divine timing that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't operate on human schedules. What appears as delay in the world manifestation is actually perfect timing in the realm of divine order. Your seeming late start is actually your perfect beginning. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing divine timing is always perfect timing. For in the realm of consciousness, there is no past to regret, no future to fear. There is only the eternal now in which all things are possible. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of personal growth. Every setback you've experienced, every failure that has haunted you, every mistake that has caused you shame, all of it is being transformed into wisdom, strength, and understanding. Let me reveal to you now how this divine law operates in the transformation of your perceived failures. For every defeat you've tasted, every dream that seemed to crumble, every venture that appeared to fail, the universe is already alchemizing these experiences into golden opportunities that will astound you with their perfection. When you truly understand this principle, you will see that what you call failure is merely success in rehearsal. For in the divine economy, nothing is wasted, not a single tear, not a moment of doubt, not an ounce of effort. All is being gathered, transformed, and multiplied by divine law. Here is the exact principle. Every failure you've experienced is actually a foundation stone for greater success. That business that failed, it was teaching you invaluable lessons that will ensure your future triumph. That project that collapsed, it was strengthening muscles you didn't even know you needed. Now here is something profound about divine compensation for failure that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just restore your losses, it uses them as raw material to build something far greater than you originally imagined. Your failures are not endpoints, they are divine setups for comebacks that will leave you in awe. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing every failure is being transformed into greater success. For in the realm of consciousness, there is no such thing as failure. There is only feedback, only learning, only growth. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your dreams and aspirations. Every dream that seemed to die, every goal that appeared out of reach, every aspiration that faded, all of it is being resurrected in more glorious form. When you grasp this principle, you will understand that no talent is ever truly wasted, no ability ever truly dormant. For in the divine economy, everything you have learned, every skill you have acquired, every natural gift you possess is being woven into the tapestry of your divine purpose. Here is the exact law. Every talent you possess, whether expressed or unexpressed, is accumulating divine interest. That artistic ability you never fully developed, it was maturing in the invisible realm. That leadership quality you thought was too late to employ, it was being refined for perfect timing. Now here is something profound about divine compensation for unused talents that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just give you another chance to use your gifts. It creates scenarios where these talents will be expressed at their highest possible level. Your delayed gifts are not diminished. They are enhanced by the waiting. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every talent I possess is being called forth at the perfect time for its highest expression. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as a wasted gift. There is only perfect timing for perfect expression. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your spiritual unfoldment. Every insight you've gained, every truth you've glimpsed, every moment of awakening, all of it is being amplified and expanded in divine consciousness. When you comprehend this principle, you will see that emotional suffering is not merely pain to be endured, but rather the birthing process of deeper serenity. For in the divine economy, every tear becomes a pearl of wisdom. Every moment of darkness prepares you for brighter light. Here is the exact law. Every emotional wound you've carried is being transformed into emotional intelligence of the highest order. That heartbreak that seemed unbearable, it was expanding your capacity for joy. That anxiety that tormented you, it was teaching you the art of inner peace. Now, here is something profound about emotional compensation that few will ever grasp. The universe doesn't just heal your wounds, it transforms them into sources of strength that will benefit not only you but countless others. Your pain is not purposeless, it is the raw material for your emotional mastery. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every emotional challenge is being transformed into greater peace and understanding. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as wasted pain. There is only transformation, only growth, only expansion. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your relationships with others. Every misunderstanding, every betrayal, every broken connection, all of it is being rewoven into a tapestry of perfect relationships. When you understand this principle, you will see that physical challenges are not permanent sentences, but temporary states being transformed into greater strength. For in the divine economy, every physical limitation becomes the foundation for extraordinary resilience. Here is the exact law. Every physical challenge you face is actually being transformed into greater vitality. That illness that seemed to rob you of strength, it was building your immune system to levels you never imagined possible. That limitation that frustrated you, it was developing other abilities that lay dormant within. Now, here is something profound about physical compensation that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just know health, it establishes a new baseline of vitality higher than what you knew before. Your challenges are not your destiny, they are the cocoon from which greater health emerges. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every physical challenge is being transformed into greater strength and vitality. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as permanent limitation. There is only transformation, only renewal, only regeneration. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your mental faculties. Every moment of confusion, every period of mental fog, every intellectual challenge, all of it is being transformed into greater clarity and understanding. Let me now unveil how this divine law operates in the realm of your creative expression. For every idea that was dismissed, every artistic endeavor that remained incomplete, every creative impulse that was suppressed, the universe is already preparing an outlet of expression that will far exceed your original vision. When you grasp this principle, you will understand that creative energy is never truly lost. It merely accumulates, gathering force like a river behind a dam. For in the divine economy, every unexpressed idea, every unfinished project, every unrealized vision is being amplified in the invisible realm. Here is the exact law. Every creative impulse you've ever felt is alive and growing in consciousness. That book you never wrote, it was becoming richer in your spiritual storehouse. That music you never composed, it was being orchestrated to perfection in the silence. That art you never created, it was maturing into even more magnificent forms. Now here is something profound about creative compensation that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just return your creative energy, it returns it multiplied and refined by divine wisdom. Your delayed expressions are not diminished, they are enhanced by the waiting, enriched by your experiences, deepened by your growth. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every creative impulse I've ever felt is now finding perfect expression. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as lost inspiration. There is only perfect timing for perfect expression. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine purpose. Every calling you've ignored, every mission you've postponed, every purpose you've questioned, all of it is being woven into a tapestry of perfect fulfillment. Every moment of divine connection that felt lost, the universe is already preparing a spiritual awakening that will transcend all your previous experiences. When you understand this principle, you will see that spiritual drought is not a punishment but a preparation. For in the divine economy, every moment of spiritual longing, every feeling of separation, every questioning of faith is being transformed into deeper wisdom and more profound connection. Here is the exact law. Every spiritual experience you've ever had, whether recognized or not, is accumulating in your consciousness. That meditation practice that seemed ineffective, it was building a foundation for profound enlightenment. Those prayers that appeared to go unheard, they were being answered in ways far beyond your current understanding. Now here is something profound about spiritual compensation that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just restore your spiritual connection, it deepens it beyond anything you could have imagined. Your periods of spiritual dryness are not failures, they are the necessary preparation for greater spiritual heights. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every spiritual effort I've made is now bearing fruit multiplied. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as wasted devotion. There is only deepening, only expansion, only greater revelation. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine relationships. Every spiritual companion who has left your path, every teacher who seemed to disappear, every spiritual community you've lost, all of it is being transformed into more perfect spiritual connections. Now let me reveal to you how this divine law operates in the realm of your material abundance. For every financial loss you've suffered, every material possession that slipped away, every abundance that seemed to diminish, the universe is already orchestrating a restoration that will exceed your grandest expectations. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand that material loss is merely the mercer's way of clearing space for greater abundance. For in the divine economy, every dollar lost, every possession released, every resource diminished is being multiplied in the invisible realm. Here is the exact law. Every material loss you've experienced is actually an investment in future abundance. That money that disappeared, it was being transformed into greater wealth. That home you had to leave, it was making way for a more perfect dwelling. That business that failed, it was setting the stage for greater success. Now here is something profound about material compensation that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just replace what was lost. It returns it in a form that better serves your highest good. Your losses are not permanent. They are divine setups for supernatural comeback stories. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every material loss is being transformed into greater abundance. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as loss. There is only transformation, only multiplication, only increase. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine opportunities. Every chance you missed, every door that closed, every opportunity that vanished, all of it is being reconstructed into greater possibilities. You will see that divine timing supersedes human timing. For in divine economy, there is no such thing as too late. There is only perfect timing, only divine orchestration, only supernatural acceleration. Here is the exact law. Every moment you think you've lost is being compressed and multiplied in divine consciousness. That opportunity you think passed you by, it was merely preparing you for something greater. That timing you thought you missed, it was protecting you for perfect manifestation. Now, here is something profound about divine timing that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't operate on your calendar. It operates on divine synchronicity. What appears as delay in human time is actually perfect alignment in divine time. Your missed timing is actually divine protection. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Divine timing is always working in my favor. For in consciousness, there is no past to regret, no future to fear. There is only the eternal now, where all possibilities exist. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine connections. Every relationship that ended prematurely, every partnership that dissolved, every connection that seemed interrupted, all of it is being rewoven into more perfect unions. Now let me bring all these eternal principles to their ultimate culmination. For what I have shared with you tonight is not merely theory, it is the very science of divine compensation, the absolute law of spiritual restoration. Remember this fundamental truth: the universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out, must restore all things in divine order. Not by human calculation, but by divine multiplication. Not by mortal timing, but by immortal orchestration. Here is your final instruction. Take all that I have revealed to you tonight and live in the absolute assurance that every loss, every setback, every disappointment is already being transformed into something far greater than you could have imagined. For this is not mere positive thinking. This is divine law. I tell you with complete authority, if you will maintain this consciousness of divine mysticism, your entire world must reshape itself to reflect this truth. Every tear will be transformed into triumph, every loss into gain, every ending into a more glorious beginning. Go forth now in the absolute knowing that the universe is already repaying you for everything you thought was lost. Not in equal measure, but pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For this is the promise of divine compensation, and the promise is sure. Remember, you are not calling forth something that does not exist. You are simply awakening to what eternally is. Everything you have ever lost still exists in divine substance, multiplying, expanding, growing, waiting for your consciousness to align with its perfect restoration. Let this be your conviction as you leave here tonight. The universe owes you, and it always pays its debts with interest. Every loss has been recorded, every tear has been counted, every disappointment has been noted. And now by divine law, everything is being restored, multiplied. For this is the eternal promise, and it cannot fail. What appears as loss in the world of Caesar is but the setup for divine restoration beyond measure. The end has been reached, for you now possess the key to all restoration, your consciousness of divine compensation. Use it faithfully, use it consistently, and watch every loss transform into gain multiplied. Let us begin by understanding what the law of assumption truly is. Many of you may think of it as some mystical force, separate from your daily life. But I tell you now, the law of assumption is not separate from you, it is you. It is the very essence of your being, the creative power that shapes your entire reality. Imagine, if you will, that your current reality is like a garment you wear. It may feel comfortable, familiar, even inevitable. But I assure you it is no more permanent or real than the clothes on your back. You can change it, just as easily as you change your attire. The secret lies in your assumption. Now you might be wondering, Neville, how can I ignore reality? Isn't that just denial? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. You see, what you call reality is not fixed or absolute. It is a reflection, a shadow cast by your assumptions. When you change your assumptions, you change the very fabric of your reality. This is where the concept of ignoring reality comes into play. But let me be clear, we are not talking about burying your head in the sand or denying the existence of your current circumstances. Rather, we are talking about shifting your attention, your belief, your assumption to that which you desire to be true. Let us delve deeper into this concept. Your world, your experience of life is not happening to you, it is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner assumptions. These assumptions are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And just as a seed grows into a plant, your assumptions grow into your experienced reality. This is why many people find themselves stuck in patterns of lack, of struggle, of not enoughness. They have unknowingly been planting these seeds in their subconscious mind through years of repetitive thoughts and feelings of limitation. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to choose what seeds you plant. You have the ability to consciously assume the state of being super rich, regardless of your current bank balance. This, my friends, is the key to ignoring reality and becoming super rich through the law of assumption. So how do we begin this process of assuming a new state of wealth and abundance? The first step is to clearly define what being super rich means to you. Be specific. Don't simply say, I want a lot of money. Instead, imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like as a super rich person. How do you feel? What are you doing? How do you spend your time? The more specific and detailed your vision, the more clearly you communicate with your subconscious mind. Once you have this clear vision, the next step is to assume the feeling of being super rich. This is crucial. You must feel the reality of being wealthy now, not in some distant future. Remember, Your subconscious mind doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. So if you constantly feel that wealth is something in the future, it will always remain in the future. Instead, assume the feeling of wealth now. How would you feel if you were already super rich? Would you feel secure, confident, generous, free? Embody these feelings. Live from this state of being. This is not pretending or lying to yourself. This is assuming a new state of consciousness, which is the very essence of the law of assumption. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I feel wealthy when my bank account is empty? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. You must learn to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your desired state than to your current circumstances. This doesn't mean you deny the existence of your current bank balance. Rather, you acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to the feeling of wealth. You say to yourself, yes, this is my current situation, but it is not my permanent reality. I am now embodying the state of a wealthy person. I am now feeling the feelings of abundance and financial freedom. This process of assuming a new state while ignoring the contradictory evidence of your senses is not always easy. It requires practice, persistence, and most importantly, faith. But remember, the reality you see around you is nothing more than the outpicturing of past assumptions. As you persist in your new assumption of wealth, your outer world must reshape itself to match this new inner conviction. Let us now explore the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain the assumption of wealth in your daily life? It begins with your thoughts and your inner conversations. Pay attention to how you think and talk about money. Do you constantly worry about bills? Do you feel anxiety when you think about your finances? These thoughts and feelings are assumptions of lack, and they would perpetuate a reality of financial struggle. Instead, consciously choose thoughts and inner conversations that align with your assumption of wealth. When a bill arrives, instead of feeling stress, feel gratitude for the ability to pay it easily. When you make a purchase, instead of worrying about the cost, feel the joy of being able to afford what you desire. These may seem like small shifts, but they are powerful assumptions that will begin to reshape your financial reality. Your words, too, are crucial in this process. The words you speak are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Be mindful of the language you use around money. Eliminate phrases like "I can't afford it," or "money doesn't grow on trees." Instead, use empowering statements like "I always have more than enough," or "money comes to me easily and frequently." Remember, these are not mere affirmations or positive thinking techniques. They are assumption states of being that you are choosing to embody. Speak them with conviction, feeling the truth of them in your very being. Now let us address a crucial aspect of becoming super rich through the law of assumption, your self-concept. Your self-concept is the sum total of all your beliefs about who you are. And this self-concept is perhaps the most powerful assumption you hold. Many people struggle to manifest wealth because their self-concept contradicts the state of being wealthy. They may visualize having money, but deep down, they don't believe they are the kind of person who can be rich. They may have limiting beliefs like rich people are greedy, or money is the root of all evil, or I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. To truly embody the state of being super rich, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. You must be willing to see yourself as someone who is naturally wealthy, who easily attracts abundance, who deserves financial success. This is not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. You see, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current bank balance, or the opinions of others about wealth. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential, including its potential for wealth. When you truly grasp this truth, when you begin to identify with your essential nature, rather than your temporary financial circumstances, you open yourself to limitless abundance. Your subconscious mind, no longer constrained by limiting beliefs about wealth, becomes free to manifest the financial reality you choose to assume. So how do you revise your self-concept to align with being super rich? The process is similar to assuming any new state of being. You must vividly imagine yourself as a wealthy person. Feel what it's like to be that person. How do they think about money? How do they make financial decisions? How do they carry themselves? But remember, this is not about creating a caricature of a rich person based on societal stereotypes. It's about recognizing and embracing your own unique expression of wealth. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself, a self that is naturally abundant and financially free. As you persistently imagine and feel yourself as this wealthy version of you, your subconscious mind will begin to accept this as your new reality. And as your subconscious accepts it, you will naturally begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with this new wealthy self-concept. Now let us address another powerful tool in assuming the state of being super rich, the use of I am statements. The words I am are incredibly potent. They are in essence your definition of yourself. Whatever follows I am is impressed upon your subconscious mind as a truth about your identity. Many people unconsciously use I am statements in ways that perpetuate financial lack. I am broke. I am bad with money. I am always in debt. Each time you make such a statement, you are programming your subconscious mind to create more of that experience. To assume the state of being super rich, you must become acutely aware of your I am statements and consciously choose ones that align with wealth and abundance. I am wealthy. I am a money magnet. I am financially free. I am abundantly provided for in all ways. But remember, it's not just about the words. You must feel the truth of these statements as you say them. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not just to words. So when you say, I am wealthy, feel the security, the freedom, the joy of being wealthy. When you say, I am a money magnet, feel the excitement of money constantly flowing into your life. As you consistently use I am statements in this way, you are literally reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon it a new concept of who you are in relation to wealth, and your subconscious mind will work tirelessly to make this new self-concept your reality. Now let us explore another powerful technique for assuming the state of being super rich, the practice of living in the end. This involves mentally dwelling in the state of your wish fulfilled, living as if you are already super rich. To practice living in the end, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire for wealth. This scene should be one that would naturally occur if you were already super rich. Perhaps it's the feeling of making a large donation to a cause you care about, or the joy of buying your dream home without concern for the cost, or the satisfaction of seeing a large balance in your bank account. Create this scene in your imagination with as much detail as possible. See it clearly. Hear the sounds associated with it. Feel the emotions you would feel. Then enter into this scene in your imagination. Don't just watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment, feeling the reality of being super rich. Now here's the crucial part. You must return to this scene repeatedly. Dwell in it. Make it more real to you than your current financial circumstances. The more you live in this imaginal scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. As you persist in living in the end, you may notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities for financial growth may appear. Your relationship with money may begin to shift. You may find yourself making different financial decisions. These are all signs that your new assumption is taking root, reshaping your reality to match your inner conviction of wealth. But here's a word of caution. Do not look for signs. Do not try to figure out how your assumption of wealth will manifest. Your job is simply to assume the state of being wealthy, to live from that state in your imagination. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Now let us address a crucial aspect of assuming the state of being super rich, the role of action. Some people mistakenly believe that the law of assumption means they can simply imagine being wealthy and then sit back and wait for money to magically appear. This is not the case. The law of assumption does not negate action, it informs action. When you truly assume the state of being wealthy, you will naturally be inspired to take actions that align with that state. You may feel compelled to start a business, to invest in certain opportunities, to learn about wealth management. These inspired actions flow naturally from your assumed state. The key difference is that these actions are not driven by fear, lack, or the need to make money. They are expressions of your assumed state of wealth. You take these actions not to become rich, but because you are operating from the assumption that you are already rich. This is a subtle but crucial distinction when you take action from a place of lack. Trying to get money, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having enough. But when you take action from the assumption of already being wealthy, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for the expression and expansion of that wealth. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state of wealth. Let your assumption guide your actions rather than hoping your actions will create the assumption. Now let us discuss the importance of gratitude in assuming the state of being super rich. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the law of assumption. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for wealth and abundance, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the money you currently have, no matter how little it may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or spend money. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms, the air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased financial abundance. Remember, the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of lack cannot coexist. By cultivating gratitude, you are effectively ignoring the abundance of financial and assuming the state of wealth and abundance. Now let us address a common challenge in assuming the state of being super rich, dealing with contradictory evidence. As you begin to assume the state of wealth, you may find that your current financial circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. Bills may still need to be paid. Financial pressures may still exist. How do you maintain your assumption in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions. It's like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption of wealth than to these outdated circumstances. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to your assumption of wealth. Say to yourself, this is old condition passing away. It has no power over my new assumption. I am now super rich, abundantly provided for in all ways. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your assumption, shows you what will be. As you persist in your assumption of wealth, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you'll begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small: an unexpected refund, a good deal on something you need, a new opportunity to increase your income. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to becoming super rich through the law of assumption. Detachment does not mean you don't care about becoming wealthy. Rather, it means you are not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of becoming wealthy. When you are detached, you are secure in your assumption of wealth. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of wealth creation without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your true wealth comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstances. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of wealth is the reality, regardless of what your current bank balance might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace, knowing that your financial abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. Now let us address the role of persistence in assuming the state of being super rich. Assuming a new state, especially one that seems far from your current experience, requires persistent effort. You must be willing to persist in your new assumption, even when the outer world seems unchanged, even when doubts arise, even when others question your sanity. Remember, the reality you see around you is the fruit of seeds planted in the past. As you assume the state of being super rich, you are planting new seeds. These seeds need time to grow. Your persistence in maintaining your assumption is what waters these seeds and allows them to flourish. Do not be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Do not waver in your assumption if your financial situation doesn't change overnight. Persistence is key. Return again and again to your assumption of wealth. Live from that state consistently, persistently, faithfully. It's also important to persist through the doubts and fears that may arise. As you assume a state of wealth that is vastly different from your current experience, your old beliefs and fears may surface. This is natural. Acknowledge these doubts when they arise, but do not give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your assumption of wealth. Now, let us discuss the importance of feeling in assuming the state of being super rich. Feeling is the secret of creation. It's not enough to intellectually know that you are assuming a state of wealth. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion of being wealthy. What does wealth feel like to you? Is it a feeling of security, of freedom, of power to help others, of peace of mind? Whatever it is, you must capture that feeling and live in it. Make it your constant companion. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand words as much as it understands feelings. When you consistently feel wealthy, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your reality. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring about circumstances that match this feeling. As you go through your day, constantly check in with your feelings. Are you feeling wealthy? If not, pause and recall the feeling of wealth. Immerse yourself in it. Let it permeate your being. This constant return to the feeling of wealth is crucial in maintaining your assumption. Now let us address a common pitfall in the journey of assuming wealth: the temptation to compare yourself with others. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the wealth and success of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy, and more importantly, it can undermine your assumption of wealth. When you compare yourself to others, you are implicitly assuming a state of lack. You are focusing on what you don't have rather than on the abundance you are assuming. This sends a conflicting message to your subconscious mind and can slow down or even reverse your progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Remember, you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey to wealth is unique to you. Trust in your own assumption and in the perfect unfolding of your desires. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, let us talk about the ultimate purpose of assuming the state of being super rich. While financial abundance is certainly enjoyable and can provide many opportunities, the true power of this practice lies in the freedom it provides. Freedom to be more fully yourself, to express your gifts, to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. As you assume the state of being super rich, you may find that your definition of wealth expands. You may discover that true wealth encompasses not just financial abundance, but also richness in relationships, in experiences, in personal growth, in the ability to make a positive impact on the world. Embrace this expanded definition of wealth. Let your assumption of being super rich infuse all areas of your life with abundance. Assume a state of richness in love, in health, in wisdom, in joy. For in doing so, you are assuming the state of your highest, most abundant self. In closing, my dear friends, remember this: you are not bound by your current financial reality. You are not limited by your past experiences with money. You are a divine, infinite being capable of assuming any state you choose. The state of being super rich is available to you right now, in this very moment. Choose it. Assume it. Live from it. Ignore the contradictory evidence of your senses and persist in your assumption. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world. You are stepping into the full power of your divine creativity. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions about wealth. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to live in the end of being super rich. Persist in your assumption, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. And above all, have faith. Faith in the law, faith in the process, faith in your own divine nature as a creative being. For as you master the art of assumption, as you learn to ignore the limiting aspects of your current reality, you step into your true power as the author of your life story. Remember, the power to change your financial reality lies within you. It always has. You are not bound by economic conditions, by your background, or by your current bank balance. You are bound only by the limits of your imagination and your willingness to assume the state of being super rich. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding. And watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound abundance you have assumed into being. Thank you, and may your journey of conscious creation be filled with infinite abundance, joy, and the thrill of manifesting your wealthiest, most expansive self.